From the News Channel 5 Network, this is MorningLine.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us on MorningLine. Nick Beres here. It's the morning after. It's pretty darn cool. All right, we kind of shuffled things up. We were going to do some open phones today, and in a way we will, but the subject at hand is going to be the Predators. Do you mind? Let's get into the Predators after just an amazing win last night. Arguably one of the most important games in Nashville history, much less Predators history, as they now are going to be playing for the Stanley Cup. We're going to talk about that. Take some of your calls, questions as we go along the lines with someone who was kind enough to come in and join us today after, what, about 3 hours sleep. Sports director here at News Channel 5, Steve Layman. Good morning to you.
What's up?
Thank you for coming
on.
We're going to get that monitor on in a moment so you can look at yourself, all right? We'll see that so we know we're
Trust
wrong.
me, at this point of the moment, no makeup or anything. We don't need to turn anything on.
He walked in a moment ago. He's wearing shorts and flip-flops. And listen, so you were there, of course, last night. I know you and John were both there.
Yep.
And you were inside. You had to do a live feed afterwards. Talk about a little bit. And we're going to show video throughout the morning, but just what's your takeaway from this? What was the feel like in there? How do you describe it?
What a night. What a night for the Preds. What a night for the city of Nashville, just on the global stage last night. And the crowd delivered, as they have this entire playoffs, and the team delivered. I mean, just let's get to the game first, because that's why everything's going on.
Yeah.
They jump to an early lead, goal within a minute and 21 seconds, get another goal shortly after that. It's a 2-0 lead, and it just feels like everything's going to come. But the Ducks really dominated the course of play throughout the night. They outshot the Preds 41-18. Remember, there's no Ryan Johansson on your top line anymore. Right. Mike Fisher's out with what we think is a concussion.
Okay.
And so your top two line centers aren't there. Yeah. These were four lines that were basically makeshifted together going into Game 5 on Saturday. And I think last night what you saw was that lack of continuity really come forward. The Ducks pressed throughout the night, and it just felt like in the second and third period it was only a matter of time until they were going to break through. Eventually they tie the game at 3, and you could kind of feel it in the arena, Nick. People were wondering, oh man, is this not the night? It felt like it was the night.
You did not want to go back.
You definitely don't want to go back to Game 7 out there in Anaheim. Yeah. And that's where the crowd came in, because the crowd willed them. They got a huge penalty kill there with about 6.5 minutes to go. Yep. And then right out of that, Calle Järnkrok finds Colton Sissons, who, by the way, will be toasted in the city of Nashville for a long, long time to come.
Was he the frontline center?
He played on the top line.
He moved took up the place of...
Right. He had been playing basically third-line center for the majority of the season, but now, in Johansson's absence and Fisher's absence, moved up to the top line between Pontus Aberg and Philip Forsberg. He scores three goals yesterday. Yeah, wow. First career hat trick, including the game winner with 6 minutes to go. And as the empty netters trickled in the final couple of minutes of desperation for the Ducks, that place just continued to get louder and louder, reached a crescendo when the horn finally sounded, and the Preds were Western Conference champs for the first time.
That is just awesome. Watching the highlights here, and I don't know if you saw this morning, again, this is something known as a newspaper.
Yeah.
All right. And
this is one of the few days where people still go out and get them,
a newspaper. And this is this is one I'm going to save, all right? Prehistoric, all right? Of course, the Predators, pre and historic. And this is, if you can put it into context, there are folks now, I think, that don't fully understand the game of hockey for one reason or another. A lot of, like myself, I can't say I know all the rules. I enjoy watching it. I never really played it, but I'm a big Preds fan because, first of all, everyone loves a winner. Sure. All right, and you have all these folks coming out now and supporting them. 20,000. Where were they during the regular season? Well, now as they keep winning, it brings. And there's nothing wrong with this. But what does it mean for the city as a sports town to maybe finally be playing, which we will be, for a world championship?
First and foremost, to me, last night was the biggest sporting event ever contested in this city.
Okay,
and it's not close.
That's a pretty big deal. And I think, it's bigger than the Titans, because the Titans did not win the AFC Championship with a home game here. Right. They had to go to Jacksonville.
The only real comparative would be if the Titans would ever host an AFC Championship game here, and that would be bigger.
Yeah.
But this last night was the opportunity to go play for a world championship. Nashville, Tennessee, playing for a world championship. And having the opportunity to do that on home ice in your hometown.
Yeah, it's just cool.
And the entire city being around it. There were 17,113 inside the building last night, like there are every night.
Right.
But outside last night, I heard one Metro cop tell, I think it was Jonquil Newland last night, that he thought there could have been as many as 20,000 people downtown
outside.
in the couple of blocks just around the arena. That might have been high, but either way, you're talking about 30,000 people probably in the 2 square block radius all cheering on a hockey team in Nashville. And that's the thing. I keep hearing this as I've written a lot of things about the Preds and the fan base and how cool this run has been.
Yep.
I think true hockey people have known for a while what a gem this market is in terms of how the Predators do things in the organization, the team they've built, the job David Poyle's
They're very
done,
professional
the coach Peter
and well
Laviolette.
run.
Yeah, absolutely. And they've also realized that the fans are great.
Yeah.
What this run has done through 8 nights now in the postseason in Nashville, Nick, has illustrated the fact that Nashville, Music City, really is a hockey city as well. There is no equal. Not just in the NHL, but in my mind, in professional sports today, in terms of your entertainment dollar and product on the ice, than what the Nashville Predators put out there.
Yeah.
I've said for a while that that's the loudest building I've ever been in.
Really?
I thought Game 4 of the Blackhawks series was the loudest, not just loudest building generally, but I thought it was the loudest I've ever heard any building, and I've been in a few. Every game since has gotten louder.
Yeah.
And the players keep saying that too. It's like, what do you expect from the fans? Well, they're going to be loud, but I thought they couldn't get any louder the last game.
Yeah.
And then tonight or tomorrow or whatever, they just get louder. I expect that to continue in the Stanley Cup Final, but last night was simply deafening.
People with ears ringing this morning. What's kind of cool is it was a rumor that turned out to be unfounded, but we had heard maybe Guinness was going to send a representative there from the World Records to kind of get a gauge how loud was it and how does it stack up against the loudest all time.
It's apparently a very, I asked some people about that yesterday, it's apparently a very long process to get Guinness to come out and do that.
Yeah.
However, what I can tell you is the NBC Sports Network crew that broadcast Game 4 measured the volume during the game on their broadcast. They had it at 129.4. The all-time Guinness record for an indoor arena is 130.4.
Wow. Set
by Fog Allen Fieldhouse at the University of Kansas back in February. It was louder last night than it was in Game 4. So had they been there, I think there'd be a new record because I think they would have topped
Someone needs to fill out that paperwork and get them here for someone, because obviously we're hosting more games now, and once the Stanley Cup.
There's at least 2 more coming.
Listen, what I want to do before we go to our first break is just Chris Conti did a nice piece. You talked about the crowd outside and the loud and all of this. He, as usual, he and Bud Nelson, great photographer, captured some of the moments right after the game. Let's take a look at that, and then we'll take a break and come back. And if you want to join in, if you have a question, 737-7587, or just a comment about the Preds, your observation about this happening in our sports town now, which it is, like, we could become title town. What if the Preds win and then the Titans win the Super? Okay, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Hey, they're all trending up right now. It's a good time to be in Music
we should
City.
talk more about that. All right, let's have a look at Chris's piece and just take in the flavor of what happened last night.
We're awesome! We're number 1! We're gonna get the Stanley Cup!
Our town, our time, our team.
When they write the history of this city, of this town,
the Stanley Cup! the Stanley Cup!
This night, painted in blue and gold, will be a defining chapter.
Stanley Cup! It's the Stanley Cup!
It's the best day of my entire life.
How could it not be after a moment like this? When the Predators came to Nashville in 1998, they were an improbable dream, an afterthought in the NHL. They are now a force to be reckoned with. And this city, so desperate for a team to rally around, finally has something to celebrate.
Oh, we've been waiting 10 years for this. This is awesome.
Western Conference champions. Late nights, sudden deaths. You're tired, but this is not a dream.
This is what it means for our city. We are just in a great place.
Tonight on Broadway and Fifth, we were all on the same team. Music City, singing the same high note in unison.
We got the cup. It's coming here. There's no way we're not going to win it.
When they write the history of this city, of our home, this team, and this moment will always belong to us.
Go Preds!
Let's go!
Chris Conti, News Channel 5.
Everyone was out there. Of course, the woman there was Mayor Beres, and she was out there with the crowd. And all right, as we go to the break, the Stanley Cup playoffs, the finals begin when?
Monday.
Regardless of how this plays out, whether it goes 6 games or 7 games in the other series.
Yep.
Okay.
I mean, Pittsburgh has a chance to close out in Ottawa tonight, and then Thursday night it would be Game 7 there.
Okay.
But regardless, Game 1, and for the Preds, they'll be on the road, whoever it is.
Okay.
The first home game here will be Saturday, June the 3rd, and then for sure Monday, June 5th, I guess it would be.
Wow.
Well, one quick thing, because I thought Chris captured it really well there, but just to piggyback off of that, I said this last night as we were wrapping up the 10 o'clock news. The thing that was so cool to me as someone who's now lived in the city of Nashville for 7 years, it's certainly home for me and I love it, is we all love this city. I think a lot of people around the country figured out how great it is. Hockey is an international sport. I mean, you think about just where the Preds, Pekka Rinne's from Finland. You've got a top line basically that are all a bunch of Swedes. Roman Jossi's a Swiss guy. You've got a bunch of Canadians on this team. This is an international story that's now being told in all those different languages, and it's being told about the city of Nashville. And last night, the entire world saw not just how good our hockey team is, not just how good our hockey fans are, and they are good. They saw how cool the city of Nashville is, because there's no scene like that anywhere. And they saw that a year ago at the All-Star game when they came in, and they're only getting it now in waves here during these playoffs. The stories told about Nashville and about this organization and the people here over the next 2 weeks in the Stanley Cup Final are absolutely going to be great. This is going to be one of the truly great moments in the city's history.
And once again, it's great for the city. I'm glad you brought that up, because this show is not SportsLine. We'll talk maybe a little more about that, but also what it means to the city and our brand. And every time you watch it on TV and they show, just like they do when they have a Monday night football game or something, the panorama of the downtown city, people around the world seeing that saying, I want to visit Nashville.
You don't have to understand the neutral zone trap to feel like this is a really cool thing and moment for the
thought
city.
Icing was on a cake. All right, so listen, we'll take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue our conversation, show you more of the highlights. We'll even have John Burton's piece and talk with Steve more about his take on where the Predators go from here. And we can take some of your calls if you want to jump in. I know many of you this early in the morning that were at the game and were into it are probably still asleep, but 737-7587 if you want to jump in. We'll be back right after this.